So why would it take 5 months for YouTube to pull down a video that they absolutely knew was gaming the system with fake views? Let's find out. Hello, my name is Kyle. This is YouTube News. This is the web series where I like to take a topic that affects this very website and then I talk about it. Over on the website The Daily Dot, Chase Hoffberger writes about how he decided to upload a video and pay companies to game the system, to give fake views. He also let YouTube know that he was doing this. So why did it take 5 months for YouTube to pull down his video? This is a very clear terms of service violation. So there's really no reason why it should have been online for so long. And Chase himself kind of concludes that at the end where he's really not that sure why it was up for 5 months. I can only really offer conjecture on my part and assume that even as big of a behemoth as YouTube is online, it's still fairly small compared to the amount of people that are in each department or in each division. So the people who are responsible for pulling videos and verifying that they're pulling down the right ones could be fairly small. Though I fully admit that it could just simply be bureaucracy loves taking its time to finally work. Here comes the meat of the conversation, because part of me figures, well, who cares? And the second part of me thinks, this is a really big deal. Let's talk about the part of me that really doesn't care that much. At the end of this experiment, there was about 505,000 views. There was 17 comments, 18 likes, 22 dislikes. For anyone who follows YouTube as fanatically as I do, you know that that is peanuts. Like, that's really nothing. This is where gaming the system has never really made much sense to me. Yeah, so you've bought all these views, but you're not buying engagement with those views. You're getting people, just a hard number attached to your video. Yeah, 500,000 people. But only 10 people actually came to your videos after you bought this. So at the end of the day, who cares? Some joker is getting some rube, which is you, to pay them money to get really nothing out of it. YouTube's renewed investment in watch time versus how many people have watched your videos, this would show, and he says, even though he had AdSense enabled on this video, he made roughly $1. With 500,000 views, he made roughly $1 because no one was actually engaging, no one was actually sharing. This was not actually becoming a viral video in any sense of the word. Now let's talk about the part of me that really does care. Specifically, if this were a music act, why this would matter a lot. I talked about it before, about how Billboard specifically is looking at YouTube and discovering how to create its Billboard charts. That's how Harlem Shake became the #1 song on the Billboard charts, because of how often it was being used in YouTube videos. If you're Lady Gaga or you're Eminem or you're somebody with a little bit of power, but even like some medium-sized power, if you have the money to like game the system and get like tens of millions of views onto your videos, that just shoves over into Billboard, where you get to be on those lists, where people get to listen to it on the radio, which generates revenue for you. And that's a completely different conversation. Now you're gaming the system and actually reaping benefits of it off the back end. And this is the part where I start to actually really care about it. Even though I realize that it's not happening in this video, if this were to happen more prevalently, and Lady Gaga and others have been accused of doing this, then you're just becoming a grade A douchebag. You're gaming the system to a point where you are reaping benefits, and the other people who feel like that is morally something that they cannot do, or maybe they're just not smart enough to do it effectively, are now at a disadvantage. Now, eventually the video was pulled down, and I'm going to link to the article down in the description below so you can have a little bit more in-depth knowledge of exactly what went on. But the fact that it took 5 months is a super long time. If it was that second scenario, the Lady Gagas are gaming the system, that is pretty unacceptable. And I don't know what acceptable is, I guess, in this case. I think maybe a few days, a week at the very most, before these things get shut down, and shut down for good. What do you think? Is 5 months an egregious amount of time to have to wait, or is that about what you expected it to be? Leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you whether you think this is something that YouTube should become better at, if you don't really care at all. All of those great comments can be left down below. As for me, you'll see me again with another edition of YouTube News next Tuesday. I'll pat his head and be like, I don't know how I'm time traveling, but I am. And it's awesome. The second, what did you think about it? Am I ruining your experience by being super English nerdy about it?